Welcome to the podcast with purpose.
Welcome back to the podcast with purpose. I am your host, Nate Link, and today I am joined by Sascha Congdon. And today, Sascha is going to tell us about her role as manager of logistics and manufacturing with Human Technologies, and also talk to us about a new and exciting project we have going on. Sascha, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Nate.
So tell us about your time at Human Technologies.
Okay, so I started back in May of 2016. I was hired on as an order fulfillment supervisor, and I worked on multiple different projects. So I supervised our Department of Corrections boots program, where we would punch holes, eyelets where the laces will go in boots, and they'd go all over New York State to the correctional facilities. I also supervised for some uniform programs, order fulfillment of those, as well as the order fulfillment of the Department of State military. And for that, we would bring anything you can think of that the military might need in-house, 100% inspect it, and ship it out. And I was recently promoted to manager of logistics in manufacturing. And in that role, I am now still leading for the Department of State program, but I also am working with the screen print and embroidery department. We do the value add for uniform programs, the commercial programs, for New York Department of State Police, and then we do all different commercial programs for local organizations. And then I'm also leading our packaging and assembly. And for that, we work with all different companies, Westrock, Paper World, Victory Packaging, and Danfoss is another big company that we're doing some stuff with.
Excellent. So first and foremost,
yes,
congratulations.
Thank you so much
on the promotion. I've had the opportunity and the pleasure of working closely with you on several projects, and I will say it is a well-deserved new title for you.
Thank you, Nate. So
you had mentioned Danfoss, and I know when I opened up, I had mentioned a new project, and I have a feeling those two things go together somehow.
Yes, they do. So recently we started working with Danfoss, who is a company out of Marcy, New York, Danfoss Silicon Power. We started a couple weeks ago doing a new project for them, where we are cleaning, vacuuming, and inspecting reusable trays. So we're doing about 400 of these right now, of these trays a week, and we're looking for that to double in the upcoming future. So our goal is to once they're ready, to get them 800 trays a week for these. And so part of Danfoss's program is they're geared toward engineering solutions toward a more sustainable future. And part of that is that they have these power modules that they manufacture. So these trays that we're cleaning are going to be housed and shipped in these trays. So they have to be totally clean, dust and debris free, static free. So all of the components that we're using in this area to do this project are all static free, including the tape, the wrap. We're using special alcohol wipes to clean them with. So it's kind of nitty gritty, and it's important that these go out in perfect condition.
Sounds excellent. I know I've seen the prep go into the room where all this work is being performed, and it is probably as clean as you can get and as safe as you can get in that room.
Yes. Yeah, it's neat.
So Danfoss, is this our first time working with them, or have we worked with them on other projects?
So we've actually been working with Danfoss since 2019, I believe.
Okay.
We do a couple other projects for them, both very similar to one another. We assemble boxes and inlays. So we'll create the shipping box, and then we fold up the inlay and insert it in there with a piece of foam. And again, this is used to house their components, their modules. So it just creates a safe shipping environment for these pieces.
Excellent. I know, this relationship with Danfoss is, like you said, about 3 years in the making. We're very thankful and fortunate to have this relationship. I'm looking forward to see it grow. It's a company with a great mission, and I believe our mission and theirs aligns very well. So I'm looking forward to watching this grow. So let me ask you this, Sascha, when you're not managing logistics and operations, what are you doing outside of work? What is your life like?
So if I'm not working, you will most likely find me outside doing something. I love hiking, biking, kayaking. Just over this last weekend, I was up in Burlington, biking for hours a day, and did a couple really cool hikes. So anything outside or with music.
2016, we were lucky enough to have you join our team. I'm sure you were other places before that, but you seemed to, those roots are in the ground, so to speak, and they're spreading. What is it about human technologies, would you say, that kind of sets us apart from other companies to work for?
So Human Technologies is an amazing company. One of my favorite things about it is that we not only create opportunities for people who may not normally have this type of opportunity, but they're really, really cool opportunities. I've had the pleasure of working on Department of State with many of our folks, and the stuff they're working on is incredibly important. They're processing and inspecting things that are going to go out into the military. So it's a really important job.
It is. When I walk through, so just for our listeners, I'm in our corporate office. Sascha spends most of her time up in our distribution center. It's probably a mile door to door, but there's two totally different things going on. When I get up to the distribution center, I see some of the things that are being inspected, being kitted. And to your point, these are going across the world to help our men and women in the military protect our country, protect our freedoms, protect other people's freedoms. That's a huge responsibility. And I, like yourself and everyone who's working on this project, I'm very proud of that work that we're doing, among other things, but yes.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So I appreciate your time. I know you're busy in your new role. I did let you know that you will be a voice on here in upcoming episodes, because there is a lot of things that we are working on in logistics and manufacturing and packaging and assembly. So we hope to have you back here soon. And I thank you for your time.
Yes. Looking forward to it, Nate. Thanks.
Hey, don't go anywhere just yet. I wanted to announce some of our podcast cash winners from the past few episodes. Episode number 2, Trinchy Chrysler. Episode number 3, Jasminka Martinez. Episode number 4, Leanne Allen. Thank you all for getting those submissions in. And everybody else out there, make sure you get them in. The link to the submission form is in the show notes on your platform that you're listening on, as well as underneath the video on the news you can use section of our website. Be sure to get that cash.